another special guest, my beautiful and lovely friend Johannah.
Oh
She is a fashion entrepreneur, whatever that really means for you. She does it all. So hit her up for all of that. But today, we are going to be getting into this idea and this belief that you are just made for more. Because we all are, and that's something that I always knew as a kid. I just always knew I was going to be made for more. I knew that I was going to be successful, and Johannah has a very similar story. Our stories align.
So crazy.
We're both from Illinois. We're both 21. We both just moved out here.
Our birthdays are so close. Our
Yeah.
birthdays are less than
Both
a month.
Taurus.
It's like 2.5 weeks.
For real.
It's giving born in the spring.
Yes, I love it. But we're just going to be diving into that journey of just realizing that you are made for more and what you do after you make that realization. So let's start it off. What was that? I guess just give a little backstory.
Context of it?
Yeah. Who is Johannah?
So I have always been a very, spunky would be a good way to put it. Very true to myself, beat of your own drum, I've always heard. But I've always known that fashion was the space for me since I was so young. And like, I specifically remember so many nights, I was like 6, and I could see parts of my future. And it's so crazy because like the parts of my story that I've always known to be like coming true, they've happened already. Yeah. So it's kind of like, oh my gosh, so now what's going to come next? Because the stuff that I dreamed of doing when I was like at that space when I was 6, literally that's like this whole like past 2 years in Arizona in the fashion scene, working with designers, like just learning things for myself and getting to do shows. Like I've always known that was going to happen for me. So being in a space before when I was younger, that stuff wasn't around me. Yeah. It's not like I saw that and just like knew I was going to do it too. Like I really had to, I saw it in like magazines and stuff, but it wasn't my community, I guess would be the right way to put it.
Yeah. So
trying to make a life for myself where that can be my community has been the goal. And here we are. Here we are.
She's doing
we became friends in that community, as you know. So that I feel like that's the most precluding context, longest standing context of that question. Or that phrase is my question.
Yeah. I love that. And very similar for me. It's funny because I actually never thought I was going to get into fashion or modeling whatsoever. I originally wanted to go into like vet school. I wanted to be a veterinarian, and then I learned that you have to like actually do surgery on animals. I was like, nope, not for me.
Yeah, that's a little unsettling as well. I understand.
And then I was like, you know what? Let me become a lawyer. That would be great. And then it's like long hours, hella paperwork. I was like, you know what? No,
so much stress.
Not for me.
Yeah.
And then I ended up going to school for criminal psychology.
I remember hearing about this, yeah.
And I went there and I did 0 classes for criminal justice. And I just, as soon as I got there, I was like, no, this is not for me.
When they make you do the gen eds, it's that's not what you want to be doing.
No.
I had to do the gen eds at ISU. I liked the classes, but as you know, my second semester was very unproductive for school. So it just wasn't a thing. And that's why when I moved out here, I was like, let me do online school for fashion so I can get straight into it.
Is that the ASU?
It wasn't even through ASU. They kind of let me join their fashion club when I met them, which was so nice. And they didn't even make me pay the fees. So it's like, you don't go to the school. Like, why would you pay? But it's Academy of Art University. I was doing an online degree there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How was the online classes?
It was good. It would have been great if I could have, not had a chaotic, because it's, at home.
Yeah.
So when things kind of went, south, I just wasn't doing it anymore, which is fine because I've been doing real, activities with it.
Yeah.
And it's been nice because I've taken everything that I did learn, which doing it at home, to answer your question of like how it was, I realized like I don't need to pay thousands of dollars to learn this stuff because I'm teaching it to myself at home right now. I'm just getting the information from them and I'm paying a lot for that. and like the teachers, of course. But even like the feedback I would get from teachers, one of them still saved on my phone, and it's like they were barely constructive. Like it was just kind of felt like scam.
Yeah.
You know?
School's weird.
Yeah,
It's
so
weird.
it could have been good. And I still think fashion school is something I would do, but I would do it in person.
Yeah. I feel like doing anything in person is always just like
Better.
more beneficial, because then you're getting the energy of the environment. You're actually being able to like see fashion in the clothes, and I don't know what
Yeah.
exactly goes on in a fashion class, but I know they're teaching you how to make patterns for your clothes and design it all. And
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. There's like, I did color theory, I did history, I did a sewing class, and we had to do patterns, which I love sewing, but it's a love-hate. So like I cried so much.
I've always wanted to learn how to sew, but I never have.
The sewing part is better. The tactical of like pattern making and stuff like that is really hard for me because I've always learned from like, what's it called? Upcycling.
Okay.
So when I have to make it from scratch, my brain doesn't connect at all right away.
What is, like, I don't even know that process.
Something that like really opened my eyes to it, because when I did the class, we were working on literally like one project the whole time. So it was
Okay.
only one garment. So it was like just patterns for a pencil skirt with a zipper and a button. So it's like not that technical. But I worked at the Real as an authenticator, and I got to take in like 250 pieces a day, and I would publish them onto the website. But I would have to like make sure that they were authentic, and I would have to inspect them inside and out and condition them. So state like, because they're pre-used goods.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would see like how they are, but I'd be turning them inside out, and I would only be able to spend 2 minutes on a product based on what I needed to get done in the day. But I would be inspecting seams. I would be inspecting like the brand tags, like learning all this stuff about fabrications as well.
Yeah.
So working at the Real, even though no one was there to like, you know, inform me a bunch of stuff, I was self-teaching a lot about how to build garments there.
I love that.
Just
Just
cool.
the hands-on experience. That's really where you're gonna learn like anything.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned. So for the listeners, I did an entrepreneur class when I was in high school, and we would go, it was through my county. So my high school, no student from my high school had done it before.
Interesting.
But it was a career center, so our county career center. They had other classes, students had taken the other classes, but no one had ever taken this business class. And my school was so nice. They literally paid for my gas cards because I had to drive 30 minutes every day by myself to go to the class, because we would go visit different businesses all the time.
That's
so
awesome.
Like, I think in the 1 year we visited over 150 different business owners, and we talked to them about their experiences and like their journey as, you know, whatever their industry was. And the main thing they would say is like, you need to follow your passion. That's it. Yeah.
One thing that as you all know, I love Jay Shetty, and one thing that he always says is, if you protect your passions and your purpose, your passions will protect you.
That's so valid. Yeah.
I love that. That's just what I live by now.
Main focus. But the reason I had brought up the class was something else that you had said of, oh my God, we just said it.
I don't
Hands-on experiences.
Oh,
that's what it was. That's what it was. That whole class was a hands-on experience. I had to start a business in the class too, and we did a group business as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
But so valuable.
Classes that actually teach you life skills.
They taught us all. Yeah, who would have thought? Yeah, no, we learned so many different types of skills. We learned about having crucial conversations, be it, you know, personal or in the business place. We learned about managing money for personal and for business. We learned all sorts of things. Interview. We had to do like elevator pitches, because when we did our businesses, we had to get loans. Yeah. But it was loans of the money that we had raised in our group business. Okay. If that makes any sense. So like the first step of the class, well, there was a lot of steps. We did so much stuff every day, but one of them was making that group business, and we all learned the fundamentals so that we could go and do it on our own as well. So awesome. I did a candle business. I I wanted to do a fashion business. I wanted to take clothes from the thrift store and repurpose them and sell them.
Why
But
didn't
I
you?
totaled my car. And so I was missing, and this was like, I totaled my car like 2.5 months before we were supposed to put on our trade show for the businesses. And so I'm like, well, that's great. You know, I don't have a car to even get to class. So for a while, my mom, so you know how it was just like me at the school.
Yeah.
My school did sports with another school, and a girl who was on my dance team from that school, she also went to the CEO class. It was called Creating Entrepreneurial Opportunity. We went to the class together, but my mom was working in that town that she lived in. And so I would go with my mom at like 5:30 in the morning. She would go into work because she does caretaking.
Okay.
And so she'd be at like the person's house. I'd be sitting in her car waiting for Megan to come. And then our friend Grant too, he was in the class, and we'd all ride there together. But I didn't have a car like after school hours to go shop around and get all the stuff.
True.
So literally like, this is so funny. I pulled everything together so last minute for my business. I ended up doing the candle business. I got all the supplies like at once. My mom had let me use the car to like take it out to get the supplies. I made like, I don't even know how many candles. I made like over 200 candles.
Damn.
One day I just stayed home sick from school. I was like, I just need to make these candles because I have to get graded on this business. And I made like $1,200 from 2 nights of selling candles.
That's awesome.
It was so good, and it was profitable.
How do you make candles?
It's so easy.
I'm curious.
So I had like the beeswax. It was soy, I guess, not bee.
Can you like go buy beeswax?
Yeah, I got it at like Hobby Lobby.
That makes sense. Really?
And then you just add, it's just essential oils. And then I had like, because I didn't have enough of the like candle wick weight. You know what I'm talking about? To like hold it in the bottom of the candle. When you know when you burn it down, there's like that little thing holding the candle wick.
Yeah.
So I didn't have enough of them. So some of them, I just put the wick on a penny with hot glue. But then it worked. Whatever works. But then you just melt the wax and pour it in. You have like the wicks kind of like propped up straight. I think I had like little things holding them over the edge of like the container. I had mason jars. And I just poured the wax in, and then I just add the essential oils, and I had different combos for scents. And then I like made like these fancy names for some of them and like charged more for like a few extra essential oils.
I love it.
And then the person who was like the director of the career center that was hosting this business class I did, I convinced him to buy so many candles. Like, you need them. Like, you really do.
Candles are great. Can we make candles sometime?
Yes! No, I actually have 10 pounds of wax in my house because I gotta make more. So perfect. Yeah.
Is that a lot?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot because I just got on Amazon. I was like, this is gonna be my like fun tactical hobby for right now. And then I cleaned out the containers I wanted to use, and then I was like, I need to go get wicks. And then I was like, I can just make the wicks. So I braided 2 wicks, and I just haven't finished the candle.
Well, we're going to make some candles. If you want to buy these candles from us.
I love how this is like not my entrepreneur journey anymore, but now I'm like, it's candles again.
Hey, it's okay.
I love it. No, it's so fun.
That's the beauty of an entrepreneur journey. Is it's like it's all over the place, and you're going to try so many different things, and you're going to learn so many skills that you still have. You still don't know. You still know how to make those candles.
That's facts.
That's great.
I love it. Yeah. But we were talking about the entrepreneur class. That's how we got in the candles.
Yeah.
That real world experience that's like invaluable.
It really is.
And that's honestly part of what drove me out here instead of like just the idea of like a fashion design and merchandising degree from Illinois State University. I love that for a lot of people, but it did not feel right for me at all. So I was like, I need to get out into a different space and make something that's genuinely for me. And that's what I've done out here. Juju has helped me along with that journey so much this last year.
Shout out Good Juju Nation.
So it's just so funny that we're here right now.
For real. What brought you, like, what intrigued you to come out to Arizona?
It was the heat.
Okay.
The idea of the heat, because originally, as you know, I was planning my college career to be at Hawaii. After COVID happened, I realized that's what I wanted, and it fell through. So I figure Arizona's drivable. I thought it was going to be summer year-round. Clearly should have looked a little further into that. You can't just assume things before you move places. I've learned many times.
It basically is.
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
It's really close. I still like the weather here a lot, except for the summers when it's miserable.
Terrible.
Of course. But the weather was a main thing. And besides that, like, really, it was just, like, my intuition. I visited here in Tempe ahead of time when we had the idea of moving. We're like, let's see. We came, and the energy was so unreal.
For real.
Yeah. When you first visit out here,
It's insane.
Something different.
It's crazy you say that, because I lived in Arizona when I was around 4, like I mentioned. But my mom said that I just never stopped talking about it. And I don't really remember that. But she's like, you just never stopped talking about Arizona.
Oh my gosh.
I was applying
for
I was applying for colleges, and I did submit to ASU, but I ended up going to Penn State. And then by the end, like, I dropped out, moved back like the end of January in 2021. And then by November of 2021, I'm in Arizona.
Wow.
And I've been out here. My mom left, but I was just like, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I love it out here.
It's definitely a whole different energy out here. I love it too.
The creative community. What I noticed was, like, because we came in November, so it's like beautiful. It was like 70s, 80s still. Everyone was outside. Everybody. Yeah. And I'm like, I need that, because living in the Midwest in Illinois, like, people don't really go outside.
No.
Because the weather's just like...
Even in the summer, like, you have to really be at the spot for anyone to be outside.
For real.
Like, no one's outside.
The community pool, that's the spot. Or Walmart.
Walmart is the spot. Like, I specifically remember so many times, like, we had nothing to do. Let's go to Walmart.
Or you go drive around, walk through the cornfields.
No, literally, like, for fun, all of high school, after I had my license, we would drive 35 to 40 minutes to go get an energy drink from this drive-through energy drink place, which...
They have a drive-through.
Yeah. It's called Atomic. It's so good. Like, it's only so good because it's just sugar and it's addicting. But, like, I would go before school. Actually, during school. During first hour. I wouldn't be there. School would be happening. I would be in the Quad Cities getting Atomic. And, like, the office people knew how, like, all of us students were addicted to it. So, like, if I come in right at the end of first holding 2 Atomics, they're, like, not happy at all. This is the way it is. There's nothing, like, this is all I'm going to get to do all day besides go to school. Because we're in Illinois. With nothing.
No, for real. Denny's at 2 a.m. That's...
You know, I've actually done that out here, too. No,
really?
You know, Faith and Rocio and Seven.
Yes.
We were out so late one night. We were delusional in the Denny's. We were waiting for so long for our food. It was crazy.
I have not been to Denny's in so long.
That's probably good.
Yeah. That's probably good. I don't know if I want to go back.
But yes, there's definitely so much more going on out here.
Yeah.
The fact that this fashion community even is here, I didn't know. When I first, like, was drawn out here, I had no idea. Until, like, so let's see. I moved in August of 2021 here. And, like, the end of September, I had seen an ad on my Instagram for Phoenix Fashion Week. And I was like, excuse me, Fashion Week? Yes. Right here where I'm at?
I love it.
So, like, I went there and immediately, like, was starting to make connections. And, like, it's only grown from there, going to shows and, like, meeting people.
I also got started in the community out here from an ad on Instagram.
Really? What was it?
It was for...
I don't know, I'm surprised. We're like the same.
It was November of 2021.
Oh my god.
For me. But it was through Nextstar Productions.
Okay.
So they're one of those production companies where you pay a lot of money, they train you, and then they put you in front of, like, 20 agencies. Oh, so mine was for an audition for that.
Oh.
So that's how I really got started.
Uh-huh.
And then that whole journey, the audition was in November, and then they had, like, a small showcase at the Hilton in Chandler, and then they ended up inviting me. Yeah. It's, like, down the road too. But they invited me to their national showcase in
Oh.
Vegas. And I got to meet with like 20 agencies. And I signed with one of them. It was Mannequin Agency. Didn't book a single job the year I was signed with them. And I don't know if
What's the point? Why
it
do
was
you do
on
that to
me
people?
because I
Oh.
was not like, they'd ask me, hey, can you go update your profile? I'd be like, yeah, totally. I would not do it. I was not like giving my all. So that's 100% the reason I never booked anything.
And that's okay.
But
It
hey, I'm doing
happens.
it now. I'm signed with another agency and I am booking.
Yes.
It's just like that opened my eyes and it allowed me to experience it. So
And it gives you a perspective of what's possible.
yeah, 100%. Because I got, out of like the 20 agencies that were there, I got 8 callbacks.
Oh my gosh.
And they
Good.
were all like, we love
Phoenixes,
you,
yay.
but you have no experience. Because that was the first thing I ever did. They're like, your resume is nothing. They're like, why don't you go back, go find some local opportunities, and then we can reconnect. And I never reconnected with any of them.
You're doing something else.
Yeah, I'm doing my own thing. If you want me, you know where to find me.
You said
this
that
podcast.
Oh wait, no. Earlier you said if you want me, you're gonna have to come find me.
No, for real. Like my phone, it might be in a river.
No, yeah, I know. My phone was in the ocean. Almost. It was like right inside. I recently, within the past few days, found a video from when my phone was missing on the beach. People recorded a video. It's so funny. They're like, yeah, this is your phone. Like, you left it on the beach. It's like, oh, yeah.
You can put that clip in the end.
Yeah, no, we could. We really could. It was so hilarious.
I love that. That's so funny. But the universe just like, I still can't get over that story of how your phone just got shipped back to you.
My phone, for everyone to know, on Thanksgiving, I was in San Diego, and we went to the beach at night just to hang out, just to chill, smoke a little. And I left the beach with my purse, went home. It was like midnight, got ready for bed, and I thought my phone was in the purse. So I was like, oh, I'll just check it in the morning. Like, I'm not really worried about texting anyone, which I should have been because I had a visitor. But, well, I didn't have a visitor at that time. But I go to check for my phone the next morning, and it's not in my purse. And I have my friends check the location, and it's left at the beach. Long story short, we get to the beach, and it's not where it says it was on the maps. And we see a tractor that is leveling sand. And some people who are listening might not even know what a tractor really looks like, because I've had experiences in Arizona with people who don't understand what tractors are.
They're gigantic.
Yeah, it's a huge piece of farming equipment, and it has this tractor that was leveling sand had ginormous logs tied to the back of it to level the sand, make it flat. So I believe my phone was getting tossed around the beach by that, and that's how it got missing. Somehow, by a miracle, it was found, and it made its way back to me in Arizona.
I love that. I did not know that they level out the sand at beaches.
Yeah, it's, I guess, because like the waves are like, coming in, crashing it, and like it gets down so
natural.
I don't know. I really wish I was a beach girl,
natural
but I'm
occurrences.
not. Yeah, they gotta level it out for some reason. I don't know what the deal is.
The aesthetic.
Yeah, it was at Coronado, so it probably is.
That's funny. Wow. Beautiful.
I know. The universe will make sure everything happens as it's supposed to.
It's definitely. So, you've come to Arizona. You got introduced. So you found that ad on Instagram and did you go?
I just went to watch Phoenix Fashion Week.
Okay.
And I ended up talking with the designer there, and like we just became connected on socials and became good friends. And he ended up moving to Colorado. But for the second Phoenix Fashion Week, because I had, met that girl at the Chic Daily, and like gotten involved, I went to a meeting where all of the designers for the next round of Phoenix Fashion Week were getting interviewed. And then at the end, I was like, I need to go like introduce myself, like for real.
Yeah.
And one of the designers, Royalty in the Rough, Like, I actually ended up working with her from that point on. She's also from Illinois,
Really?
of course.
There's so many people out here.
Yeah. But I helped her, and I got to go help her backstage the 2 nights of Phoenix Fashion Week, which was
That's
so
awesome.
cool. It was so fun. I loved it.
So awesome. Would you think that you had any issues like putting yourself out there, or were you like
Yes.
100% confident?
No, like, even still, in certain aspects, like, and I would say specifically too for modeling, like, if you go to my page, there's not a way to book me.
DMs.
Like, but like, it's all about
Yeah.
the way that I like focus on it. And it's been so chaotic. Like, this last year, I pinpointed all of the things I want and all the things I want to do and all the things that I want to incorporate in my life.
As you should.
But it's a lot. So I still, for that reason, sometimes like hold back. Like, I really do. Like, I have only went to a few castings for agencies, even though like I know modeling is something I really want to do. But part of me also with it is like, as my journey's been so far, it's been so true to who I am because all of these things have naturally happened.
Yes.
So in that sense, it's not about putting myself out there, kind of.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just like, I just want to be to myself, and then
Facts.
whoever, like you just said, whoever finds me,
Yeah.
good, like, that's fine.
No, I love that. And I feel like with this energy, that's such a good mindset to have. Because, like,
Thank you.
if you're just, I know for me, I really struggled at the beginning because I'm like, oh, I got to put myself out there. I got to network with all these people. That will drain you.
Yeah.
So quickly.
Yeah.
So quickly. So thank you for saying that.
No, yeah, of course. It's definitely, that's kind of how I felt the whole time of my journey out here. Like, how I met that girl, and that's how I ended up being in my first fashion show. Like, everything will just come to you if you let it.
No, literally. I love it. It's so beautiful. And that, I'm deep into that journey right now.
I know. And it's not that it's easy, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's still so hard.
Surrendering.
And like, sometimes I'm like, do I need to be putting myself out there more? And like,
I feel like that whole idea of, with my last episode, the idea of doing more, like, that goes into it, like, putting yourself out there. Like, yes, in some way that could be beneficial, but where is that feeling truly coming from?
The grind is so popular.
Yeah.
And in my personal life, especially since I've always known what I want to do, I've always said I want to make fashion my whole life. I want to, be working on it all the time. And it wasn't until this past year, I would say, really this past year, I feel like my besties now, like, they kind of have put me into this mindset too, is like, why in the world would I ever want to work my life away? As much as I love the things that I want to work on, I do not want to spend my whole life working. And I realized, I took some deep reflection, like, every single adult that I can recall being like around in my life, hard worker. I love that. Yeah. That is needed. I'm glad that I had great examples of how to work hard, because without that, I would not be in the state. I would be there with those adults still.
Yeah.
But I did not ever get a good example, other than friends' parents, of like taking some time to really slow down and live your life and stop working.
Yeah.
Never did I see it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I've identified that's something that I want for myself now, because there's no need to be grinding towards these passions 24/7, because they're naturally occurring and they're naturally going to come back to us.
For real. The universe, it wants to bless you. Like, I know I struggled a lot just over the last couple of years with the idea, like, oh, like, why does everything happen to me? Why is the universe doing this to me? But in reality, it's happening for you.
It's so nice
and that
to know.
shift changed everything. Because, like, if you start to think, oh, the universe and every experience I have, like, it's happening for me, even if it is something bad, if it's happening for you, you're meant to learn something in that moment.
Of course.
You're meant to learn something.
No, I love that. It's so true. all of the things that are instilled within us, it's specific to you and it's purposeful. It's for a reason. And it's not like if you keep those things in mind, like they're not going to happen. They're going to happen.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be your truth. It just takes patience, and you just have to be in for the ride of your life. Like literally.
Yes. Another thing that I always remind myself of is that you cannot miss out on opportunities that are meant for you.
That's so true.
Like, regardless of what happens, if it is meant for you, you're going to experience it. It may not be at that time you expect. It usually isn't.
No.
Never when you expect it.
But it's always at the perfect time.
Yes.
Once you look back.
And that's where that trust in the universe, like, it's all happening for you. And this idea that, you know, everything, oh, we need to wait for the right time. Like, no, let it go. Just surrender and let life show you that time.
And see, this is a good transition, because on that topic of trusting the universe and speaking of where I need to be, I moved to Arizona with no job lined up. I don't know if you knew that.
Mm-mm.
No job lined up. I had just like started classes like a month after I moved to Arizona. So I was like, I'll get started on the classes. And I worked 6 days a week at the farm to table. I was working at a farm, working at a restaurant in Illinois to save up to move out here.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'll get there and I'll find a job. Who knows? Originally, my first job idea wasn't so great, and I'm glad it didn't work out. But I went on Indeed and I was looking at fashion jobs, and I found bridal stylist. And when I was so young, I was in like 3rd grade, I would draw wedding dresses. I loved it. The shows, you know, of course, they say yes to the dress. Everyone loves it. And I always like really wanted to be in the bridal industry. And so I just trusted that since there's jobs out here for bridal stylists, that could be mine.
Yeah.
And I just made it happen.
That's so awesome.
It was so good.
Did you have any like practices or just routines to help you stay connected to that? Like, how did you know it was going to happen?
That's a good question. Let me think. Well, with that in particular bridal stylist, I like, I forced it. I feel like I literally forced it because I kept telling everyone I wanted to do it. And the first interview that I had, it actually went really bad, and I cried because the owner was there from Britain. He opened a franchise out here. So I felt so pressured. I was so nervous, which I'm usually great at interviews.
Yeah.
So it's so sad.
I hate interviews.
Yeah, they're a little tough. Just depending definitely on the interviewer, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
But I just still wanted it so bad. And literally, I actually, because like, you know, I saved up, but I still had to get to work sometime soon. So I ended up getting a job at this like lash place as like a front desk, and I had my first day. And then after my first day, the second interview that I had for bridal, I hadn't heard for a while from them. So I just kind of figured, you know, it's not going to be me. But the lady who interviewed me, she's like, hey, so like I've been able to like get the owners on the same page. Like if you do want to come work for us, like we'd love to have you. And I'm like, at first, like I just started another job. But at the same time, I was like, I told this place about the bridal salon literally while I was interviewing for this place. Like they knew that was in my search.
Okay.
And they know that's my niche and that's what I'm focused on. So they understood, and it was no big deal. And I ended up going there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was really just wanting it so bad. And like, I visualized myself there for sure being a bridal stylist.
I want to get into that. Visualization.
Oh my gosh. Do it when you're modeling. Do it when you are modeling. That's when I do it the most because you have so much time. You just sit there staring at a wall.
I struggle to stay awake.
Me too. No, it's hard. When the heater's on. And then they have you laying on a pillow.
For real.
And my body thinks it's time to sleep. Yeah, I understand.
Little context here. We do art modeling at the Scottsdale Artist School. And do you do like the workshops, like the 7.5 hour long?
No, I haven't. I think I did it once on a Saturday.
They're so bad. They're great. My first one. It's such a weird experience. Somehow,
also, Maggie got me into it. Thank God. She's gotten me so many jobs. Like, ugh. I love it. But anyways, yeah. Your workshop.
I'm glad it worked out. But my first job at the Scottsdale Artist School, it was for this amazing artist. His name was Joseph Todorevich, and it was a 4-day workshop, 7.5 hours, and it was nude. And of course, I was on my period at that time, so I couldn't go fully nude. We had some panties on.
I always wondered because
yeah,
for
I was
that
like,
time.
Athena, she was really nice. She's the model director there. And she was just like, yeah, just let them know. Like, what are they going to do? Tell you no?
Yeah.
I know
True.
they don't want to see nothing.
That's so true. That's so true.
But
Just
it was so rough. Because, like, my pose, I was in a chair and we're on the stage. You have this bright ass light just in your face. You're in, it's literally
So
school.
bright. Yeah.
Like, plain walls. And yes, it's an artist school, but the walls are still plain.
That's so funny.
This is true. And it's just like, it hurts your eyes so time. And you're just staring.
Seriously.
Do you ever make eye contact with the artist?
Yeah. And I'm like, oh.
For real, I feel like, oh, I'm not supposed to look at you.
I know.
But I'm like,
I
they're
try to stare somewhere
just
else.
staring at you. So I'm like, it's my fault if we make eye contact. Sometimes I'll just look at him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're staring at me, I'm going to stare at you now.
Oh my gosh. I did it at the tattoo shop the other day. I was like, I'm sorry, looking at you. Like, I'm not, I'm just bored. I'm just sitting here.
No, literally. But it's 7.5 hours. You do it for 20-minute increments. You get the 5-minute break. And then when you do the long days, they give you an hour lunch, which is nice. I'll usually just go to a park, eat some fruit, hang out. Good. But my body hurts so bad.
No, when you sit, I didn't ever think this would be a thing, but when you sit like that, no matter what pose really it is, for a long time, it hurts.
The places that you're not expecting, because like when you first get into the pose, they're like, all right, how does that feel? I'm like, oh, it feels good. But by day 2, day 3, that does not feel good. No, I couldn't
imagine, because I still like work during the week, so she put me on for a workshop that was like for the week, but I can't do it because I'm busy. I couldn't imagine 7 hours of long pose day after day, especially for the first ones. Yeah. That's so intense. Yeah,
it was a lot though. It's great. It's a fun time.
It's fun. Silly crowd.
I'll never forget, because in that specific class, it was almost all male artists. I think there was like 1 or 2 females, and this was my first time ever doing nude. So I'm just sitting on the chair wearing my dress still, and they're all ready.
And they're like, what? You're gonna get naked or what?
The artist, the way he was just like looking at me, he's like, I can't tell you to take your clothes off, but it's time to take your clothes off.
Yeah, that's about right.
It was funny.
No, literally that happened. So I got put on the schedule the other day for an open studio. I didn't know it was nude. It didn't say nude on the...
Yeah, they just don't tell.
They didn't tell me. And so, like, I was, like, getting up, like, you know, my pose was ready. And then I did a gesture for, like, 2 minutes, and they drew me. And then they're like, so are you going to get undressed? I was like, oh, like, I could? I can't. It's like, I'm not, like, I have nothing against it. I've done it before, but nobody told me. And they're like, oh, they didn't tell you? They're like, yeah, well, this is a figure class. And I was like, got it. Thanks.
That is so funny.
And honestly, I had a really big, like, overcoat. Like, it's basically a robe. It's like, I think it was handmade, like, coat from someone. It's from Goodwill, but it has, like, a nice satin lining. It's, like, very fluffy. But nice. If I wouldn't have had that, and they told me, like, if I didn't have any robe or anything, I'm like, I probably wouldn't have done it. I don't know what would have happened.
My first time, I didn't bring a robe. So I was literally just like up there just chilling.
Just naked all day. No, I'm sure they loved it. I know.
I'm literally up there stretching like naked.
Oh my god.
Now that I think about it, I'm like, yeah, they were definitely, because I caught them staring.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a beautiful woman. I don't know.
Of course.
But like, it's such a weird environment because it is so safe, and like they're literally looking at how like colorful your skin is.
Yeah, and they're like looking at the silhouette of you.
Yeah.
That's it.
I love that because it really opened my eyes and it made me feel more confident within my body, because I'm like, I'm on a podium Y'all can see every crevice.
that part.
When I did it at the Artist Guild and I did gestures for the first time, I was literally dripping sweat.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
like, I know she's dripping a little down there because, like, females,
no, I know.
we drip.
Yeah. See, that's what I was gonna say too about the Artist Guild. It's like I didn't I just had the robe. Like I didn't think about bringing like undershorts or anything. And like when I had to sit down, I was like, sorry guys.
That was always like my biggest question, because when Athena first like mentioned like, oh yeah, they do the figures here, I'm like, what happens? Like, are we do we get a towel?
What's the procedure? Yeah, no, literally.
Because it's real.
No, it is real. It's a real concern.
Don't know how we got to that.
I don't know.
Oh,
Who knows what the
that's
question
hilarious. I don't even know. That's funny. But I love art modeling.
It's so
fun.
cool.
I'm hoping to do it in Italy.
I hope you will. It's like already
I'm waiting
there.
on Athena to
They're just
set
waiting.
that up.
They're just waiting for you to get there.
Because they want the models, if you go and model in Italy, you have to be there for at least, I think, 5 weeks, or they don't want you.
Sounds harsh, but it sounds right.
Yeah, because they do, did you ever meet Alejandro?
Mm-hmm.
He's a beautiful
Sweetie,
soul. I love
yeah.
Alejandro. But he did it, and he said that they'll have you doing like the same pose or painting for like a month straight. Which,
dang, that's
honestly,
really
like,
refined.
that's a real detailed ass painting.
Yeah, for
see
real.
that.
That's what I was thinking. That's a lot of work that they're putting in.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that it is gonna work out.
It's definitely. We're
It's
just
gonna
gonna
work
get
out.
there.
Yes.
That's so good.
I just gotta get there.
I love it. You got it, girl.
I'm so excited. It's gonna be beautiful. Have you gone out of the country at all?
The only place, and it was the perfect timing. Literally February 2020.
Ooh.
I went to the Dominican Republic. My best friend's family took me. It was so lovely. It was so fun.
I love that.
I just remember so many different things. But honestly, like, walking around and, like, just the feeling of, like, contentness I had there. Because, like, besides Tennessee, how I told you I went with my family, like, I did not travel, like, when I was younger at all. Like, I haven't even been to, like, Michigan. And I'm from Illinois.
Really?
Like,
did you go to St. Louis?
I've driven through. I haven't seen the arch ever. See? Yeah.
You've never seen the arch?
No. I saw it at night when I was driving.
That's so crazy.
And I wanted to go up to it, but I was like, it's night and it's St. Louis. That's really not a good idea. I'm by myself.
And I don't think... Is it on the good side or is it...
I don't know what the good side would be considered there.
I know East St. Louis. That's the place you don't want to go.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to be anywhere. Based on the way the traffic is there, I don't want to be there at all. But I went to the Dominican Republic, and it was so amazing. And, like, honestly, I got so much time to, like, calm down there. And, like, because, you know, that was when I was 18. I've, like, lived my whole regular life. Now I'm getting a step away from it all.
Yeah.
To just relax. And it was so fulfilling.
That's always awesome.
I love it.
I've always wanted to go. How long were you there for?
Just a week.
Yeah? That's a great amount of time.
It was perfect.
Yes.
And it was so funny because my friend, her name's Kylie, who brought me, we were, like, counting down, and we were, like, literally planning days we were going to skip for, like, the rest of our school year. Not knowing, of course, that it was about to come to a shortened end anyways because of COVID.
No, for real.
But it was all perfect timing. Like, really it was.
It's so awesome. I've always wanted to go there. When I don't know if I told you this, but I did network marketing for a year.
No, I don't know that I remember that.
I joined that the summer of 2022. No, 2021. The summer of 2021, because I was doing it when I moved out here. I did it for about a year, but so cute.
I was like, I was making a biscuit on her paw, or his paw.
But I did it for this health and wellness company called It Works, and I'm so grateful. Like, that joining that network marketing company, like, changed the game for me, because that was right after I dropped out of college. So I'm like, I moved back to Illinois. I did not tell anybody, and I was just like, you know, I'm just gonna put my head down, and I don't know what I'm doing at this point. But I joined that company, and that was my first time. It was only women on the team.
So good.
It was my first experience being around a community of women that were like empowered and chasing their dreams, and they were giving me books to read. They're like, you can do anything.
You can.
You can. And we got on Zooms, and I loved the Zoom calls. And at first, I'm like, do I need to have my camera on? I'm like, can I just sit here and observe? And my team was so good. I never actually got to meet my team lead, but I love her to death. I'm so connected with her.
Good.
She does real estate now, and she's a mom now. She's shout
Queen.
out to you, Lauren.
Come on, Lauren. So good.
But that just like it literally changed my life, and I was not the greatest at the business. I never made more than like $200 because I'm just not an online. I'm not a cold call salesperson.
I have to do it now for my day job.
I cannot.
I
cannot.
Dreadful. I have a script though. I mean, I don't know. Did you have a script?
Yeah, we have like this whole boards app. They have multiple scripts. Like they're telling you what to message.
See, we had 8 weeks of training. I work for CarMax, and I sell from my home on the phone. But we literally had like 8 weeks of training, and they told us like their overall mission, and like they kind of give us like they call them critical or vital call behaviors. So it's like things that you like have to say in the call, and like just the way it should be. It's just like half the time people are calling me and they just need to get scheduled for service. They don't need to go through this script with me.
No, for real.
So it's definitely interesting. Especially the cold calls, because like I kind of state my reason for calling, and then I have to do discovery and ask them a bunch of questions. But like when it's an incoming call that they weren't expecting, they don't care and they just want me off the phone. So they don't want to go through all of it, but I still have to.
Shout out to you, because I could never.
Girl, I literally did not go on Thursday. Yesterday? I didn't go. I'm fed up. This is why I need to be a full-time entrepreneur.
The universe is going to bless you.
It's happening. It's all in motion.
It is.
It's only a matter of time before I return my equipment to CarMax and never return it.
So let's say you are done with CarMax.
Thank God.
Let's visualize. What does that look like?
I visualize it all the time.
Let's hear it.
So it starts with Mango and I in the morning.
Mango's her cat.
Mango. So yeah, I thought everyone just knew that. Mango and I, my cat, we enjoy our peaceful mornings. It really does look like the mornings I'm emailing, I'm finalizing deals with brands, and then up into the afternoon, creating some content. Can't work with the brands unless I got the content for them, so boom, got that. And I really just want to focus on taking more time to like truly live in my house. And that sounds crazy. I promise, guys, I'm not crazy. I've lived in a house like my whole life.
No, that does not sound crazy.
But you understand, because you have like been around so many different places, and I feel like when you don't grow up in just one spot, especially, like it's so easy to just like be gone all the time. Like you can go do crazy things, like you can always be working on something else and then just come home late and then go to bed and start it all over. But like one of my main goals, the reason why I want to have this type of passive income with the brands is so that I can enjoy that.
I love that.
Because I've never, and that's where the spaciousness comes in. Spaciousness is my word of the year. And I feel like just being able to be in my house and just hang out and just do a puzzle if I want and just go sit on the patio and chill and just really working on the content. And then, of course, I'm a creative, so that's not going to stop no matter how much I want to try and schedule my time and do it a certain way. The creative things will happen when they happen, which is beautiful. So one thing I really am focusing on is making jewelry. This year, I want to learn more of it. This is like not like I made it. I just put this one, I'm trying to like separate them. This one, this gold, like, oh, sorry, baby. I put the little clasp things together, which is so easy, but it's like being able to do it more, like with more complex things like body jewelry and stuff like that.
Okay.
I love.
I could totally see that for you.
And it really came from because I've always been into fashion. And last year, my main objective, because I took 12 different things for the 12 days of Christmas, or like the last, part of the year. And I lit each of those things, whether it was a goal, an intention, what have you. I lit one on fire every day, and I was left with one at the end. And the one I was left with, that was my focus for last year, which led me to some crazy things I would have never thought of, was I will focus on developing my personal style. That's the only reason I ever even got involved with Arizona Fashion Week the way that I did, too.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful part of it. But from embracing my personal style, I learned a lot about like accessorizing for fashion and like really styling, which now I'm just really wanting to go deeper in with jewelry. It's so elegant. I love the thought of like honoring the body by adorning it and like accessorizing it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same reason I really love art modeling, is because it's something that's been practiced for forever. This has always been practiced.
For real.
That's something that's really important to me just in general. Not being so into like what's going on nowadays, not so tech heavy, not like consistently.
I love the art modeling because I feel like the artist always like, the last time I did it, they were telling me I looked like the Mona Lisa.
It's so nice the things they say too.
Right? Like that's a very unexpected but like beautiful
So nice.
compliment.
I know, right?
But I love this. It feels like very Renaissance. And I know in one of my past lives I was doing this shit. So I just feel like it really does connect you to this like old version of yourself.
Yeah, and like a timelessness.
Yeah.
Like I really feel it. That's why I love it.
Yeah.
And honestly, like the more I do it, I feel like I'm less drawn to like the photo shoots and runways. Like it makes me just want to have a little bit of a quieter experience.
Okay.
What do I think for that?
Yeah.
Probably because Arizona Fashion Week was crazy. Like seriously, I feel like I was just running around like so chaotic, and this is so still. It's two different sides of me for sure, because I love runways too. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
It's a good balance. Because I feel like I need the chaotic, like, you never know what's going to happen, but I also need I'm just here.
Yeah. I think experiencing the runway as a model, I prefer more than doing backstage. Oh my gosh. It was so, I loved helping the designers. I loved hearing about all their story and all their mission. I loved seeing the pieces come together.
Yeah.
And I loved putting those models on the runway. Like leading up to it, I was like, come on, let's go onto the runway now. Like, oh,
I love it. Modeling it's so interesting, but it's so chaotic backstage. It really is. I went from not knowing anything to just being fully immersed in it all the time, and I have taken a big step back. I didn't set the intention all right, I'm gonna take this step back, I'm gonna do it. It just happened.
Yeah.
Opportunities just stopped flowing, and I just surrendered to it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna just start my podcast.
Love it.
And I'm gonna travel, and now I'm going to Italy, and it's slowly picking back up. So definitely needed the last 3 months after Arizona Fashion Week has just been crying, growth, healing, rest, intentions, and just getting more into the slow living. And
it's so important.
Yeah.
Especially this day and age, like I said, the grind is so popular. Yeah. I don't know what for.
It's just what we've been pushed. That's what our generation in society believes that they have to do.
It's such a big influence that it has to be done. It does not have to be done.
No.
We're allowed to just hang out.
Live however you want.
Yeah.
It's a trend.
There's no
the hustle culture is a trend now.
And that we don't approve of.
And all trends come to an end.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that trend has come to an end for me. Yeah. I've always found a lot of pride in hustling.
Same.
I don't know a time when I haven't had more than one job. And I don't...
Maybe when I was 16.
Yeah, no, literally. I got a license, and then I was like, okay, let me get 2 jobs.
I was so excited to go to work. My first job was a hostess at Applebee's.
I was a hostess, too, of course. I wasn't at Applebee's. The very first place, they actually ended up closing because they were laundering money. Kylie and I worked there together, though. Yeah. It was so fun. She got hired there, and then we both would ride together because it was 35 minutes away. But Yeah, there was like a really bad incident that actually happened one time when she was working and I wasn't. The owners basically made her like take his drunk on the clock daughter home. Kylie, 16, in her car, drive that drunk girl home. But at that time, there was literally like an active case going on for that woman who had molested a young girl. So then
Damn.
after that, Kylie stopped working there, I stopped working there, and then like 2 months later, they closed down. That was my very first job.
That's so crazy. And that was in Illinois.
That was it was technically in Iowa because we lived on the border and we
Okay.
went over.
Damn. Midwest shit, man.
Yeah, but I mean, I still needed a job, so I was like, well, I gotta go get another one now. Been working even before I had my license, I was babysitting.
Yeah. Same. I used to babysit my niece. My brother would pay me like $10 a day.
So yeah, I was in small towns.
Yeah.
There's not much budget for a babysitter, but
no.
This is better than nothing.
Yeah.
I took my money to the soda machine because that's all there was.
I love it. Like the kitty party we got going here.
I know. Hers was so really cute. I feel like we could probably talk on like self-image. That's a big part of this question.
Okay.
Knowing deep down that you are enough, it really it has to come from you first.
Facts.
That is actually part of the stuff I was writing about here when I was reflecting on it, is like I knew I was more only when I really reflected on it and I sat with it. And I kind of, from others, I was able to draw and learn things that I wanted and things that I didn't want. Mm-hmm. And I envisioned a life for myself. And at first, it seemed crazy. It seemed like it couldn't be for me.
Delusional.
Yeah, it's like people have always told me that that's not it. Like literally even my guidance counselor in high school, like she wanted me to just go to like a state school and do the fashion design and merchandising degrees, when like I had explained to her, like when I envision my career in fashion, like I see the rooms that I'm in and I see what it looks like for me. And everyone, when you say fashion and you say that it's not just like modeling, a lot of people, it's like, oh, so you're going to have your own business. You're going to have a store. And it's like, there's so much to fashion.
Yeah.
And I was telling her, I want to learn all about it. And it shouldn't make me feel confident in the fact that there was space for me. And so I had to kind of ditch that. I really leaned into that entrepreneur class and all the things that I was learning. Thank God I took that class.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky I decided to take that class. And I just knew I can create a business, and whether that's, just a storefront or it's through the life that I live, I can do all these different little things throughout my life and be an entrepreneur in that way. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks for you.
Facts.
And I really leaned into that. Your life is not for others. It doesn't matter what other people think. That's a big part of it, because people will make decisions based on what they think others are going to say.
No, for real.
And it's crazy because it has nothing to do with them. Really deep down, even if it's a relative, even if it's a close friend, your decisions are for you to make. So knowing that deep down you can have that life, and then just finding a space where it's welcomed.
Yes.
And luckily I followed my intuition to Phoenix to find that.
I love that.
But you can't let those other voices really get to you.
Yeah.
You have to know deep down that what it is that you desire, and you can create a life based on that. The only reason I'm in Arizona is because I had the idea to come to Arizona and do fashion, and here I am.
Hey, and you're living your best life. I love that. And this idea that there's always going to be people telling you oh no, you should probably do this. They are projecting their own insecurities on you. The fact that your guidance counselor did that, she needs to be fired.
Her and I went into it. Don't even worry.
Oh, that's crazy. But even in schools, they are not. Hey, girly.
It would be so nice if we all worked to uplift one another, and that's why I like this community here, because that's definitely what it is.
Yeah.
But so often, like, people that I see and I know, they really worry about everyone else before they're worried about themselves. I've done it. Like, I'm learning from experience. Like, I used to be so
Same.
worried about what everyone thinks, but you can't. Like, your life is yours to live.
Yeah.
And that comes first with loving yourself fully, because you can't identify what it is that you desire without that love for yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just spinning in circles, which I've done.
For real.
I've been there.
I
still do it sometimes.
Hey, it's a process, and like all of these things that we overcome, they're going to show up down the road, and that's just life letting you know there's still a little bit more to release, and that
And
is
you just
okay.
learn from it, yeah.
It's all, the journey is not just you're going up. Like you have
It's
anything
life.
that comes up has to
Yeah.
come back down again. That's
Yeah.
science.
Yeah, well, and that's just the way that life is. Imagine
Yeah.
how boring it would be if it wasn't like that.
No,
you
for
know?
real.
It like just this is just the way it has to
Like
be.
these challenges are what make the good parts so good.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're like, damn, I was really down in the dirt, but now look at me.
Yeah, it adds so much more value.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm so grateful just for the mindset and just everything. And the people around me and these conversations that I can have.
I know, I love it.
I
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
For real. But I really, that idea of, what am I trying to say? But just being shown like what you don't want and what you do want. For me, I was really just shown like, okay, this is what I don't want. I was never really exposed to like, yeah, that's something I would want to do. Like it was all of just like, I don't want this. Thanks for teaching me what not to do. And for a while, I would be like so hard on my family and like not directly to them, but I'm just like, why aren't you guys teaching me these things? And then I realized that shift. I'm like, okay, they're just teaching me what not to do.
Yeah.
That is still lessons.
It's still very valuable because
Yeah.
you have to know what you don't want, because then when it comes around, you can identify.
Exactly.
The person who like really stands out to me that like gave me an idea of like a type of life I would want to live, Kylie's mom. She came from like a family life that wasn't so great, and like she made a very like calm, peaceful life in her home, and like she's very, I want to say like type A personality, like on top of like everything, you know, like, oh, like we have everything planned out ahead of time. And like, actually, if I really think about it, my very, very first modeling would have been with her, because she started an online business, and Kylie and I did like some photos of this stuff in it.
That's awesome.
But like that, since that was what I was always missing in my life at home, like seeing that type of like a calm home life where she's still like, she works so hard. She worked for the Arsenal, like the Rock Island Arsenal, so it's military. She did HR.
Okay.
But she just like had it together, and like, I don't know, she was just a very big role model for me in that way of like seeing an example of like something I would want in my life.
That's amazing.
I got a Roomba because of her.
Hey, we love Roombas. That's so good to see. And just for those who don't have like that example or that experience, what would be your advice to them?
My advice would be to sit with your thoughts of things that you really don't like and write them down and really dissect what it is that you don't like about it. Because that's the only way to kind of exclude it moving forward.
I love that.
Because then when it comes up again, you can identify it.
Yeah. Knowing what you don't want. Yeah.
Yeah. It's big. And I still learn a lot of times what I don't want. And I think that I'm going into it like, oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just kidding.
Just kidding. And I feel like people put so much pressure on themselves. Like, oh, I don't know what I want. Like, that's okay. You don't have to know what you want.
We're so young, especially. Anyone who's listening, I mean,
the majority of y'all listening,
as you have today, that's it.
Yes.
You don't have to stress about it. You do what feels right now. Everything else will follow.
Always. as long as you trust and believe and stay connected.
Yeah, absolutely. Having faith is something that will literally take you so far because you can't see it. You have to have faith even when you're scared,
Yeah.
even when it doesn't feel right. Have that faith that you were made for more. It will carry you
So far.
seriously.
So far. That's how I've gotten everything, because
Right.
I was struggling, after I left college, I was working 2 jobs. I didn't have a car. I was walking to work and I was sleeping on the couch. And then I moved out to Arizona and just like everything, just dreams started happening. But on the back end, I don't know if I've shared this on here or with you at all, but while all my modeling started to pick up, my mom got diagnosed with cancer and Parkinson's disease within like the same 2 weeks. So it was so crazy experiencing that. And that was just.
And that was right when you guys moved here, right? Is that how it
was
happened?
almost a year into it. So this was 20 November, like around September, October of 2022. She moved back in November. So like right whenever Arizona Fashion Week was happening, I did it last year, and that was my first ever runway show. And I started going to all these castings, and I got casted for that. And literally during the 2 weeks of those events, that's when she was moving back. And she was like, "Are you going to come with me, or are you staying here?" And she's like, "If you are staying here, what are you going to do? Where are you going to live?" And I'm like, Mom, I really
Great
don't
question.
know. And I was like trying to figure out, like, can I rent this apartment? And I had an apartment set up, and then that fell through. And then I ended up renting a room with the family that I was telling you about earlier.
Yeah.
Beautiful family, and I'm so grateful for that. But I literally got that set up in a week. Like I had 1 week to figure out where I was gonna live because my mom was moving back to Tennessee. And I'm like, if I leave, I lose all of this.
Yeah.
And so on one side of my life, my modeling and everything is growing and picking up. And then the other side, my mom's going to more doctor's appointments and we don't know like all of this. So it was so crazy.
It's like a whole turmoil. And I'm sure your focus like was obviously being drawn away from the modeling. So it's like not that easy.
Like I go out to these events and then I come home and it's just like,
there's a lot.
Yeah.
No, I know. I mean, like, part of like some of the stuff that was going on when I first like got out here, like crazy stuff will try and get in the way of your dreams, really. But like you said earlier, like you're not going to miss your opportunity because it's meant for you.
Yeah, for real. Whenever we decided, and she moved back just to have more support because it was just me and her out here, and she couldn't drive. So I was the only one who could take her to doctor's appointments, but I was starting to get really busy. So that's why she decided to move. And it was such a hard decision. I'm like, my mom just got diagnosed with cancer and I have to choose if I want to go and be by her side or if I want to follow my dreams and passions.
That's such a,
and I was just like, damn. And so I chose to follow my dreams and passions, and that put even more like weight and pressure on me. I'm like, if I don't succeed, I don't know where I'm gonna go.
What was it all for?
Yeah, for real. I'm like, I could have been using this whole time to just be there by my mom's side, but I also knew what made me decide to not go back truly was I knew I could support her and be a better life for her if I was doing what I love every day. Because I knew if I went back, because she moved to this small town in Tennessee, I knew I would get so depressed. I'd be miserable, and I did not want to put that energy on around her healing.
That's a good choice.
That was like, it was so hard to see, and just, it was a crazy decision. I really have not told many people that, but now y'all know. The people know. But I love that, and
that's a brave choice. But that's definitely the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You don't want to have that stress on her at that time.
Yeah, and it has been. My mom is cancer free.
Oh, good. Oh my gosh.
the whole like treatment and everything. She had like really bad allergic reactions to it, and it was just bad. But I've been out here working. I work with this business called Immersion, and that's Saul, the guy I was talking about.
Yeah.
His brother and his friend, they have that business, and I will work their events, and I kind of just do what they need me to do. Like one day I'll be bartending, one day I'll be working with this company that they have in. So just whatever they need from me, I just show up. But they work with all of these businesses in regards to like health. They're just bringing awareness to that or helping people, and so I feel like I'm connecting with so much, and I'm able to just like bring so many new ideas and resources to my mom because I took that decision, and I'm learning so much for her from a distance. And yes, it's hard. Of course, I would love to be by my mom's side, but
I understand.
I just knew that I would be so much better for her and for myself if I took that passionate route.
I understand. Well, it's like so wild how close our stories are because like when I moved out here, it was not like right after I moved out here, but I'd say like I'm trying to think of the real timeline. I remember where I was when I got the call, but my mom has lupus, which is like not a great sickness, and like I didn't know until I moved out here. So like since she's my only parent, you know, I know you understand.
Yeah.
It's like really hard to be so far away, but I definitely understand what this like.
Yeah.
And she's on a healing journey. It's kind of like this, but she's hanging on there.
No, I feel like I'm just like giving her so much hope because I'm like, Mom, I accomplished this. So like she's seeing like there still is so much light and good and love in the world, and she just says that I'm just her best friend, and I love it. And we would not have that relationship if I would have went back, because I would have shut down. I don't know, because I was so deep into my journey of like self-love and self-discovery. If I would have just stopped it right there,
it would have.
I don't even want to think about that.
It would have been hard.
I don't even want to think about that
because like we moved away from like where we're from for a reason. Trying to get out to the city.
Real. So I'm like, I can't. And that pressure of like, oh, I need to succeed just because of this, or I'm gonna lose it all, like that isn't here anymore.
Good.
So, but it definitely did. Like I was doing so much. Like when I first got started, I was doing multiple photo shoots every single week. I was desperate for opportunity. Anything that come my way. And luckily, because I was doing that work on like the back end, it was mostly all aligned. So I had a few like rough experiences, but I was aware enough to be like, all right, I don't want that. And like, I know I want opportunities, but I know I do not want that. That is not good.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how it goes in modeling. I've had to do
There's so many sketchy ass things. Take a moment.
Pour one out. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking about that chat and some of these things like it's in there. It's just crazy. Crazy. Yeah. Imagine if we were in a bigger city. Like, imagine if we had a chat and we were in New York. New York models.
The shit they'd be sending. I don't even know.
That would be blasphemy. That'd be crazy.
But I just want to give a little to the people right now. Like, if you are in a space where you're just craving opportunity, don't be desperate. And just trust that you are going to align with the opportunities that are right for you, and you will not miss out on the things that are meant for you.
As long as you're really tuned into what's meant for you, and that's by like really focusing on your desires. What is that you really want to achieve? What do you really feel drawn to?
What does your little self want?
Yeah,
that's really what it is.
I think about her all the time.
Like this podcast, when I was a little girl, I was so shy and I would dim myself down, and I talk about this all the time on here because it's so real. And being out in this space in Arizona and just being exposed to so many people that are on this creative journey, I can see it. Like, I can literally look at a person, I'm like, you're dimming yourself down. And it's so crazy to see because I did that all the time, and like this podcast is that space to heal that for me. I never spoke
and
up.
relight yourself.
Yeah.
Like
So like
project your light.
everything I'm doing right now is just what little Maggie never did.
I love it. No, and that's a really good like focus to have. Like that's what I think about all the time too. Like what are these things that I've always wanted?
Yeah.
And it comes from her.
Yeah.
She knows better.
No, for real. Like
she's the OG.
I will look
I went by Hannah back in those days.
You went by Hannah?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was because like you think about Hannah Montana, and then I didn't like Johannah. I actually thought it was ugly, which I'm so happy I love my name now because I do love my name now. But
I used to hate my hair.
Me too. No, literally Hannah is a version of me with dead straightened hair. That's it. My older sister Amber, she would straighten my hair too. I loved it. I thought it was so cute. I did not like the curls. That's because I didn't know how to take care of it.
That part.
Yeah.
You do love your curls. You just don't know how to take care of it.
And that is applicable for anyone.
No, for
regardless
real.
of the hair type.
I wanted to get a blowout so bad.
I can't believe I didn't. I wanted to so bad. My mom didn't let me. She told me I could do stuff at 16 with my hair. And then I turned 16 and I didn't do nothing.
See, I never like had a deep enough desire because I'm like, I don't want to change my hair. I knew I would never dye my hair.
See?
The most I did, I bleached my tips once, but like
it's gone.
Yeah.
See, when I was in kindergarten, I told my crush about how I wanted to dye my hair black. He brought me a whole kit of his sister's hair dye. I literally was in my bathroom at my dad's, like, opening it up, and he caught me. I was about to bleach and dye my hair black in kindergarten. It's giving emo. That time I was, like, drawing broken hearts on my paper. For what? Drama. Literally, like, next to my name. Johanna Ruff.
Broken heart. Oh, it's so funny.
It's so true, though. So, yeah, I think about her little self, what she wants. She's so spunky.
Yeah.
She's so silly.
Like, if you don't know what you want, ask your little self. They know.
She knows just what to do.
Yes.
That's
I
so cute.
love
It's
that.
perfect. What's the question gonna be?
The question? So, for my guest episodes, I'm asking you a question. And you're asking the audience a question.
Okay, love it. Okay, so then let's do it.
Let's think. Oh,
I'm gonna have to really think.
So, my question for you on this journey of just knowing that you're made for more. Just let it come to me.
I know. I'm also trying to let mine come to me.
It's all natural. Nothing is forced here. Just right on the spot. I wrote one out, but I don't remember what I put.
That's okay. Maybe I'll think of it.
It's right there.
Is it? Do you want to see it?
No.
That's so valid.
It'll cut me.
Okay, let me think of one too.
The next 5 minutes, just
You can always cut out this. Yeah, elevator music. We can put the video in of the people who found my phone.
Facts.
Or no,
right here.
I was gonna tell them the park that we did. Elijah and our friend Omar and I were at the park one night, really late, and there was like a xylophone and drums and stuff. So we could play the song, the xylophone song.
Yeah. Yes.
What would my question be? If I could ask the Magical Lane audience a question, which I can.
You can. You get to. It's the pleasure of being here. Mike, I don't even know my question for you.
Yeah, I know. I'll wait for my question. I'll be asked my question, and then I'll ask.
Okay. So, my question for you is...
I was like, I'm gonna look over, but I know we're gonna start laughing.
Maybe I take a little peek.
Just a little peek.
Just a little peek. What did I put?
Yeah, I might look at my journal to see if I have any ideas for my question.
Oh. I didn't even really write a question. I wrote just what is your advice for people looking to make that shift?
That's a
into
question.
better?
That's a question.
Yeah, it's a question. Okay, so my question for you is, what advice do you have for the people who are wanting to make that shift into just, they know they're made for more and they're ready to take that next step? What would be your advice for those people?
My advice would be above everything, except for if you're taking care of like a pet or a child. That comes before this because they are depending on you. But outside of that, focus more every day on learning what love feels like to you. Like, my self-love journey goes tandem with like my career and chasing my dreams because it's the foundation of it. And so to me, that means like every moment is a moment that you can experience love, and you need to be giving it to yourself. So what does that look like and what does that feel like for you? So for me, and it kind of has been told because I've mentioned this stuff about like being at my house, but like that's a really big like part of like my comfort and love for myself right now is like and because I have OCD, it goes far sometimes, but like just creating like a comfortable space for like my cat and I, that's so important. That's like one of the best ways that I show myself self-love because like it's important for me to have that space. So doing things like that. Something that's really important to me too is like making sure I take good care. So making sure that I'm eating, enough of the right things, and just I'm in a space now where I'm trying to evolve my look.
Okay.
Like glow up because I do certain things for maintenance that the girls needs to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but like my hair, like my curly hair, like I did a little today, but like I don't always put the time to really like master that care and that love for my hair. I kind of just like will throw it up and go on with my day. But that is something that's really important to me. That's something that when I was younger and like my dad would do my hair, like that's a really big love language. So like making sure that I'm taking the time to do it, that's like an act of self-love towards myself. So like no matter how big it is, no matter how small it is, like making it a huge priority above anything else is the most important thing you can do.
I love that because if you really are just giving yourself love and you are in that space of, I'm ready to evolve, giving yourself love all the time and just setting those practices for yourself, like that's what's going to create that space for you to, one, align with things and open space for opportunities or ideas or anything to come to you, but also just helping you create that space within your mind and your body to know what you really want.
Yeah. And I think of the definition, and this is a religious like whole take on it, but like love is patient, love is kind, love is not deceitful. Like we have to remember that type of stuff within ourselves because like you can have thoughts coming in from anywhere. You have to really control those thoughts and focus them in love, because if you don't love yourself to the full capacity, you cannot give any love to anyone or to anything. Facts. So you have to fill that capacity, and then it will just overflow out to others.
I love it. That is beautiful.
Thank you.
Great way. But to end today's episode, what is your question for our audience?
Let me see. I feel like I almost would have wrote something down. Maybe. Let me see if I did.
I don't know if I told you this.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like I know how you are, and I knew you would do the questions. I don't know if I would have wrote one or not.
That's funny.
No, I don't think so. Oh, but this is good too. Just a reminder that our most valuable asset is our time.
And energy.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Without that, you're not going to be able to evolve at all.
Also, I want you to show this off. Look at
Oh,
this notebook.
I have a bunch of different Lisa Frank notebooks.
They're so
This
cute.
one I've had since 2021.
I used to have these
I have all of the
when I was a
things.
kid.
I like identify the colors, and I said this notebook takes care of X, Y, and Z,
Aw,
and then I write accordingly.
I love that.
I didn't write a question. Oh, also it's the dog because my last name is Rough. Like a dog bark. I feel like you're smiling. I just
Me
know.
just-
You're like, what's your question? It's like SpongeBob. When he's like, you like Krabby Patties, don't you, Squidward? What changes? I was like, I had it. I'm like, that has nothing to do with this.
It's okay. It can be anything.
I know.
you want.
Yeah, I know that's true.
Whatever feels right. Something to leave them questioning.
I know. I'm trying to be so insightful right now. I feel like I'm drawing a blank, but I do want to get a question. When did you decide that you were made for more? And if that still hasn't happened, why?
I love it. Why?
Because like you definitely are made for more. We as humans only like reach, what is it, like 10% of our like brain's potential?
Yeah.
Like focus in on all of that 10% that you have accessible to you and identify what that really looks like for you. And
I love that. That's a beautiful question.
Thank you.
Just to repeat it, if you I'm gonna let you repeat it. I was about to reword it.
It was like two parts kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, when did you decide? But I guess if someone answers that part of the question and not the second part,
I was gonna reword it
please do.
into if you are not living your dreams and your passions, what is stopping you and why?
Yeah.
What is stopping you from living your passions and dreams and why? That is your question for today's episode of The Magical Lane. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Johannah,
thank you for listening.
for
Oh my gosh, no,
having-
thank you for having
It was
me.
a beautiful conversation.
I love it.
I
It was
love
so
too.
good.
So much love.
Yay.
But that is today's episode. Thank you all for listening.
This
So much
ant
love.
came from the park with us.
Oh, the ant. Kill it.
I didn't even kill it.
But thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. So much love, and just continue living magical. And again, enjoy this new outro.